Shohei Ohtani scandal? Is he gambling? Is he playing blackjack? Playing sports bets? Is he throwing games? Jack, what is going on with Shohei Ohtani right now? I just truly don't understand.
V, I'm excited to get into this topic with you. I'm glad you brought it up. There's just a lot of weird things going on with Shohei Ohtani and his translator that aren't really making much sense right now. To just break down the topic, first I believe there was a sting operation which led to the closure of a offshore book in the California area, and this led to Shohei Ohtani's translator to come clean to the team, how he's stepping away, how he has a problem, and basically that he's been gambling lots of money. And he basically phrased it as Shohei was trying to be a nice friend and bail him out of these problems, right? That's pretty much what he was getting at.
Yeah.
Then Shohei's group, his people, his lawyer says this is all untrue and that Shohei had no idea of this gambling and he had no idea he had been missing $4.5 million from his bank account. So leading a lot of people to think, how does one not know of $4.5 million leaving your bank account? It just seems improbable and doesn't really make much sense. So people have their tinfoil hats on, and they're suspecting a bunch of crazy things. And, I think the lack of transparency from the Dodgers and from Shohei have kind of allowed this to go on. But do I think Shohei Ohtani is throwing baseball games? It just doesn't really make sense to me, but obviously we need more information. That would be my take for the most part, is just we need more information to determine the severity of the issue, right? I mean, it's just that simple to me. Going on what we know now, it's just tough to make a decision either way. But, I have heard a few things, V and Dave. If this was a different player, do you think they would be allowed to play before an investigation had been concluded? Like if this was, I don't know, Ben Rortvedt and his agent's placing bets or like something on his behalf, some murmurs about that. You think he would be allowed to play opening day? I don't know. It's tough. So that's the question I would leave you guys with.
I mean, Dave, I'll let you start this off.
I was just going to say, Ohtani's responsible for like a whole continent of viewers tuning into the MLB. So I think there's definitely maybe a little bit different treatment going on here, Jack. That's a great point. Unfortunately, Ben, until he gets some weight to his name, I don't know if he'll get this treatment. But it's a bizarre story. I forget. I know our faithful listeners know the answer. Did we all say that Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Like, quick show of hands, raise your hand if you think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think we all said that.
Yeah, so we all agreed on that. Okay, so again, the whole Pete Rose thing is he bet on his own team to win, never purposely threw games. So, like Jack said, we're missing details to the story. I thought, there's a clip circulating Twitter I find interesting. It's after the reports came out. You see Ohtani and his translator laughing, having a good time in the dugout. And it's like, if you didn't know somebody just stole $4.5 million from your bank account and then reports are coming out that happened, why are we buddy in the dugout? But clearly something's fishy going on. But we'll wait and see. V, what do you have to add?
Yeah, I have to answer Jack's question. I think MLB will do everything in their power to protect the image and reputation of Shohei Ohtani. Now, the way I see this playing out, and I could be wrong, I'm no professional, I'm not even a smart guy, but the way I see this happening is one of two ways. Is Ohtani's telling the truth right now. He had no idea what was going on. He must just be that dumb. He had no clue that this guy was stealing from him, how he got access to his bank account, whatever. And he's telling the truth, and Ippy, his translator, will be going to jail, will get prosecuted, and all this will go away, and Ohtani was innocent the whole time. Or Ippy, his former translator, will not be going to jail, will somehow go back to Japan, will disappear, will never hear from him again. MLB will fine Shohei Ohtani with an undisclosed amount of money just for being involved, and this will go away. Unless the feds, FBI, whoever gets involved legally here, can give MLB definitive evidence that Ohtani was the one placing the bets, Ohtani will never be getting in trouble more than just an undisclosed fine from MLB. I just firmly believe that. Whether he did it or did not do it, I believe he did do it. Hot take, maybe not. I don't know. But that's the way I see it forming. I mean, me personally, if someone took $4 out of my bank account, I'll notice. So for someone to not take $4.5 million out of Ohtani, yeah, he may have hundreds of millions in there. I think you'll notice that, you know? So it's a little fishy. It doesn't add up. That's the way I see it panning out. I could be wrong. And maybe he is innocent, and I hope he is. I don't want, that kind of sucked, but that's the way I see it.
A few things. So I would just like to add that I think the only reason any of this is an issue is because this happened in California, right? And I don't think it wasn't a regulated book. So the book it wasn't on like a FanDuel. I don't even know if you can sports bet in California. You might not be able to.
Sports betting is illegal in California.
So that's the crux of the issue.
Yep.
Now, I was watching the Korean series. I did catch a bit of the second game. I did not watch the first game. Watched a bit of the second game when the story broke, and they had that guy. I forget his name, but they had a Korean gentleman on the broadcast. I guess he was a translator, more or less a translator, just someone that knew Korean culture very well. I guess he was from Korea.
Okay.
And he was basically saying he had been an interpreter, a translator before, and it wasn't uncommon for the translator to open the bank account, or open bank accounts, have passwords, have stuff like that in the player's name, because if they can't read English, right, or if they can't read Korean, how are you supposed to know this is savings, this is checkings, right? How are you supposed to know all that? And if it's true that Ohtani trusted this guy and they were very close friends, I think it is very believable that the guy stole the money. And, I think, like you did say, V, you don't know how somebody could steal that much money and it just goes away. But I think in this scenario, if you're trusting somebody 100%, I could kind of see a scenario in which that happens. I just can kind of see it. You don't know. I don't know. You don't know what says savings, what says checking, what says withdraw, you don't really understand that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what's most likely is that Ohtani maybe, the only thing I could see him possibly doing is that he maybe tried covering the losses. He saw his friend was getting crushed by the book and tried to pay off the debt. I could totally see that, which is a crime, which is illegal, which is kind of what Ippei was saying was going on. Shohei knew, but then the Ohtani camp came out and said that was actually a lie. That discrepancy is what's causing the crux of the issue. And none of this is an issue if we're not talking about a non-regulated book in California where sports gambling isn't even legal. So I think, like we've all said, we just need more information. But definitely an interesting situation for MLB. And another interesting tidbit is that MLB has the strongest players association. Strongest. So they're going to fight tooth and nail, this players association, to make sure Ohtani doesn't face any severe consequences. So not only is the league saying, we don't really want anything bad to happen to our player, but the Players Association is also the strongest in any professional sport. So you have those things working in Ohtani's favor. But if Ohtani is caught gambling on the sport of baseball, he should be banned and should never play baseball in the United States ever again. I mean, that goes without saying, I think. So.
I mean, I agree with the entire fact that MLB banned one of its greatest all-time hits, banned the all-time hits leader in Pete Rose once they found out he was gambling. So it's only fair that if another fellow superstar guy gets caught, he has to get the same treatment. Or you don't ban Ohtani and you give Pete Rose his enshrined spot into Cooperstown and into the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's the only two options here.
Wouldn't that be a terrible look for MLB though? To once this happens with Ohtani, to then be like, all right, Pete Rose, never mind.
They won't do that.
They won't.
I don't think that's an option. Yeah.
You can't have players in a game that so much money is on the line. Every single pitch, every single at bat. It's the same in all professional sports now, and all the leagues are behind all these gambling companies. So there's really no, the penalties are harsh. If you get caught gambling on an outcome in which you control, I mean, you should be banned from playing the sport. You can't be trusted again. There's just no two ways about it. We've seen this in the NFL. We saw Calvin Ridley get suspended, but he was hurt, and he was betting on his own team, so he wasn't actively playing in the games. But still, you can't do it because you're too close to controlling the outcome of the game. How are we supposed to have a game where, two teams are duking it out, you don't really know what's going to happen, and some guys, has money on the line, and he's trying to control the outcome? I mean, it's just unfair. You can't have that in professional sports in the United States. It's just, there should be zero tolerance for that. And not saying that's what he did, but that in a vacuum, you just can't have that. And the precedents are too close. So.
Completely agree. And Jack, I'm going to just pivot instantly, real quick. Breaking news, guys. Jordan Montgomery has signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
No way.
With the live here on the show.
How much? How much?
Let's go look at passing here. He doesn't have a number yet, but it says left-handed starter Montgomery and the Arizona Diamondbacks agree on a free agent deal pending physical.
Wow.
Wow, the Diamondbacks really going for it.
Good for them.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean their team's really rounding into shape here. With,
that's a good. They got a good rotation.
They have a great rotation. Erod now, obviously Gallen, Montgomery, Merrill Kelly had a great year last year.
Brandon Pfaadt,
who was, sensational in the playoffs. So
yeah, it's a good lineup.
We were talking V before you got on. It's the Yankees go from Houston to Arizona, so two tough series to start out. Obviously, no Montgomery in that series, but I was still holding on for a little bit of hope that the Yankees would snag Montgomery here, but
I was hoping he'd come over to the Queens here,
But V, we can pivot quite nicely because somebody else did come over to Queens. JD Martinez, the newest member of the New York Mets.
Holy crap! The Mets got a DH. Guess what? The Mets got a guy that'll protect Pete Alonso for the first time in his career. Pete Alonso? Do you know who's protected Pete Alonso in his career? Robinson Cano, Dominic Smith, J.D. Davis, Daniel Vogelback, Darren Ruff. What are we doing here? Now you're protecting him with J.D. Martinez, and that is a bona fide major league hitter on a 1-year, $12 million deal, but it's mostly deferred. This year it's like $4.5 million for this year. The rest is Bobby Bonilla out the door. So honestly, Jack, I don't know how you feel. For me, great signing for the Mets. I think that was a no doubt move right there.
Well, I told you, V, that I would, if I was a Mets fan, I would feel a lot better with my team having a legitimate DH and not having, the Vientos, DJ Stewart, Beatty occasional half day off, Alonso half day off, DH revolving door that you've had, the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The Mets have kind of not really been able to figure out the whole DH position since it's been allowed in the National League, and finally they get one. And them holding on so late, the Mets, and not giving in to Boris actually worked out in their favor, where
100%.
It was reported JD wanted 2-year minimum. possible 3 years, and the Mets end up getting their wish. They get to sign on a 1-year deal, and a lot of the money's deferred, which is great because it's not going to be killing the Mets with their Steve Cohen tax. So
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect fit. Did I predict this? Or I might have predicted JD to Seattle. I think I predicted Teoscar to the Mets. But it's still like in the same principle. The Mets needed a DH. They needed another power hitter. And you just got to hope that Martinez can capture that power he had last year, because the previous year he wasn't able to hit the ball out of the ballpark for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, but I think just a great quality signing gives the Mets a chance, right? You ask. I feel like that's what you got to ask for as a fan. You just give us a shot to compete, and you never know what can happen. Guys get banged up. Who knows? Maybe, never wish for injuries, but maybe the Braves rotation falls apart. They can't hit. I mean, it happened to the Yankees. It just all of a sudden no one could hit. Guys got hurt. Judge, gets hurt, and then you're just a shell of your former self. Mets, with this move, I really think are legit contenders for that second wild card. I don't know about the division, but if someone goes down, I could definitely see it. And I think they did really well here.
Jack, I don't know if you remember me telling you, I'd say about 3 weeks ago, I said the Mets need to do two things. They only did one of the two things I asked for. I said the Mets need to get a starting pitcher, and the Mets need to get a DH. At the time, Soler was available, and so was JD Martinez. And I think I told you I wanted JD Martinez. Because I thought Soler was going to get way more money. He got a much bigger contract, guaranteed, obviously, but it was like 15 a piece for the next 3 years. But JD on a 1-year deal, I mean, hallelujah. I mean, it makes so much sense. Obviously, I think it's not the most perfect fit. For me, the most perfect fit would have been a left-handed power hitter. Like, I think a Jock Peterson would have made a lot of sense for the Mets. But obviously that went out the door real quick. He went to the
Arizona. Arizona too?
Arizona Diamondbacks. So, I think that's what the Mets are really missing, because they have a right-handed power bat in Alonso. But JD Martinez is one of the most clutch hitters in the game. His numbers with runners in scoring position, he's like a 300 hitter in his career. With runners in scoring position 2 outs, he's like a 292 hitter. Guy goes oppo, he pulls the ball, he hits the ball hard, barrels it up. I know he's a bit older. I'm not expecting for him to do 35-plus home runs, but to have like a 28 to 33 home run type of power bat that we haven't had the past 3 years in the DH spot, it's huge for this lineup.
Yeah. One more thing I want to note. Did you see what his quote about wanting to come to the Mets over the Giants, where he was basically like, the Giants, it's tough for right-handed hitters at I forget what Chase Field. Is that what's it called now?
AT&T Park?
No, they changed it. Anyway. Is it AT&T? I thought they changed it. Whatever. It's tough for right-handed hitters, and he didn't want to be looked at as kind of how some of these guys are looked at now, as just guys that are fading and aren't real contributors. Go ahead.
Oracle Park.
Oracle. Yeah. So it's super interesting. He decides to choose the Mets for less money because he didn't want to be looked at as a guy that's completely fallen off. And you see that still with guys like Tommy Pham, who have yet to been signed. I mean, it is crazy. That's an extremely talented player. That was best during the most important time of the season, is when he was at his hottest in October, and he's just unemployed right now. It's crazy to think about, but there's a lot of guys like that, right? Kike Hernandez, we talked about that in an episode. We talked about, some of these guys that really, Eddie Rosario, these guys that performed very well last year that just aren't getting that good of a look. I don't know if that's because of this whole owners, whole thing going on with the agents, or a lot of these GMs looking at the same math. that says players aren't worth that much anymore, right? Unless you're a young player, might as well just play the prospects over these older guys. So
Yeah.
But I think the Mets hit it out of the park with this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was interesting that he publicly stated that he turned down the Giants just because of their stadium. And, obviously it didn't scare Soler away. And I'm not saying JD couldn't have gone to San Fran and had a good year. He definitely could have. But, he is a gap-to-gap hitter. He doesn't hit 480-foot home runs. He hits 365. He hits line drives that get out. And, that is not a ballpark for a power hitter, really. And he's right. He could have batted 260, hit 22 home runs there, and everyone's like, all right, yeah, he's declining. But he gets to play at City, and they determined if he had played in Citi Field last year, he would have hit in like 43 home runs compared to his 33. So It's definitely a much more hitter-friendly ballpark for him because he loves that right center field gap, and the Mets had kind of moved in that fence right there a little bit. So, I'm excited. I'll be there for opening day, guys. So if there's any of you 197 fans out there would like to see Big V out there, I'll be in the second deck in left field, front row, whenever the hell opening day is. Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, Thursday night. I'll be there for either of the day, whenever it is. I'll be posting pics on the social, so follow at BQB Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever the heck you want to watch me. I'll be all over. I'm excited. JD won't be there for opening day, though, which I get. It's completely cool. As long as he's there for the Brave series, which is, I believe, like the third series the Mets have, or the fourth series. Rotation, dude. Real quick, before we pivot to the Yankees, can I talk about how good Luis Severino has looked in spring training? I know it's spring training, Jack, and I try not to look too deep into the numbers, and I'm not going to go list off his numbers. I'm just going to talk about his makeup and the way he's looked. The guy has averaged 97 miles per hour on his fastball. His sliders got bite. He's blowing fastball by hitters right down the middle. He's got the changeup's working, the slider's working. He's looked really good. He allowed the 2-run double to the Yankees a couple days ago. I know that. He could have easily gotten out of that inning, if I'm not mistaken, for like a weird mishap play by Beatty. So, I'm thoroughly excited to say that I'm kind of excited to see what Severino's going to do this year with the Mets. I'm very optimistic with him. I even added him to my fantasy team this year. So, very excited for Luis Severino. The Mets as a whole seem healthy except for Senga, which he should start his throwing program, so he should be about 6 weeks out, which hopefully everything goes well with that. That's all I got on the Mets. But Jack, I'll let you, if you have any final remarks, or Dave on the Mets before we pivot to the Yanks.
I'm rooting for Severino. I am.
Right.
I don't know if I'm optimistic, but I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, I'm definitely not optimistic, but we'll see.
Hold up. You're telling me if Severino was pitching for you guys in spring training, you wouldn't be excited a little bit?
I never said you shouldn't be excited. Yeah, I wouldn't be optimistic. Yeah. Absolutely not.
We've been optimistic in spring training about Severino many times.
I've said. He also was hitting 97 last year regularly and still getting shelled. So, we're gonna move on slightly to the Yankees. Bit of a different change of pace here as more injuries. The injury bug is back around already. LeMahieu gonna miss some time. Davey's already on the IL with a foot injury, and I know I've said this on here, guys, but I feel like I'm one of the only Yankee fans that's just not excited for DJ this year. I wasn't excited before the injury. I'm definitely not excited now. I see LeMahieu as an injury-prone old player that basically should be a utility guy at this point. He should not be starting every day at third base. But it seems like Oswaldo Cabrera is going to end up playing third base because we have more injuries. Oswald Peraza's hurt, right? So he can't play third base. I have been kind of reading the tea leaves on Cashman's comments that maybe a trade is on the way, maybe a signing. I don't know. I've heard Gio Urshela's name floated out there that he might be a trade that the Yankees would be inclined to do. I'm not really too sure, but it's just I don't know. It's just a lot of injuries. A really shaky spring training, I'd say, for the Yankees as a whole. I feel like we're just waiting for the season to start. It's just like, let's just start the season already. We have so high expectations, Dave. It's like, let's just get this thing going.
Yeah, it's spot on, and it's just it feels like same old with these Yankees injuries, but you never know. Maybe a DJ injury could be a blessing in disguise. Maybe we go acquire someone who can step up and be a difference maker. It would be nice to see us take some action. Garrett Cole went down. We didn't step up and acquire one of those guys who seem to be available. But yeah, man, it's just the Yankees. We want to see Juan Soto kick off his debut with the Yankees. We just want to get this thing rolling. I'm excited for baseball, but as a whole, it's just these couple of days have been long. So I'm ready to see it. Ready to see how we do against the Astros. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Don't really have much else to add.
Yeah, it's I would describe the feeling, especially I would say from most Yankee fans, it's just this anxious kind of waiting for either another move to be made or something to get some good news about Cole's injury, right? Or to see some good performances from our starters, which we kind of saw, kind of didn't see during spring training. Rodon was kind of good at some points, really bad at some other points, and then looked really good one time in one start. He pitched 5 scoreless against the Phillies. I don't think he gave up a hit. But then his last outing gave up 5 runs. So just super inconsistent. Nestor also super inconsistent. Stroman has looked like the best guy, but got a lot of flack because he basically said he didn't want the ball on opening day. Now that's more for pitching reasons. I didn't really look too deeply into that, but I know some Yankee fans were giving him a bit of grief on that. Bullpen has looked pretty good, and I want to shout out Luis Gil for earning the 5th starter spot for us. That's huge. A guy that's missed portions of the last 2 seasons because of Tommy John. He's going to be on an innings restriction, Dave, but he's looked really, really good. His fastball's been moving a lot. I'm super excited to see what he's going to do this year. And, I would just describe it as this kind of anxiety going on in Yankee land right now, just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I mean, to just jump on top of what you guys had said earlier, towards the end of spring training, a lot of these guys who were on minor league deals or non-roster invites get cut. And I wonder if there's like a infielder that the Yankees kind of like that they portray as not making the team. And I could see the Yankees quickly snagging someone. And actually, the Mets kind of hinted at the same method as I just said. Excuse me. David Stearns came out recently and kind of said that, like, as of now, DJ Stewart has the last bench spot, but we are actively looking to add a bat. So I could see if there's another outfield bat, lefty outfield bat that they may like that's in spring training and that they don't make the roster for opening day. That'd be probably tomorrow they would find out. Then that's all. The player could then come to the Mets on a major league deal, minimum salary. And I wonder if the Yankees have that same idea, where worst case scenario for the Yanks, they got Cabrera going to third. Mets, the Mets have the last bench spot for DJ Stewart. Best case scenario, I don't know, like a Gio Urshela is released. I don't know if he's on a major league contract or not. Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head. Or that's kind of the example I'm giving here, and I think that's kind of what they're hinting at when you had said maybe they may add outside the organization. Because I know that's happened quite a bit in the last couple of years, like a guy who just gets released and then quickly can make another team's opening day roster just out of necessity of the other team. So that's something to look out for sure. Yeah, Yankees got the injury bug. Scares me. If I were a Yankee fan, just a little bit. But you got a healthy Judge, healthy Soto, healthy Stanton, healthy Verdugo, Stroman, Cortez. Rodon is healthy. We'll see if he performs. Bullpen. I mean, I'm pretty confident in the Yankees bullpen. I think that'll be really good. Yeah. I mean, Rizzo looks healthy, which is always a positive as well. We'll see how badly the Yankees miss Garrett Cole, though, because I'm worried it's going to be quite a bit. They're going to miss him quite a bit. But hopefully the Yankees offense comes out on fire to start the season, and I think they'll be all right.
Jack, I actually saw Luis Gil. Is it Gil? Luis Gil? I saw
I say
his
heel, but
heel?
I think it's pronounced like eel, like heel. Eel.
I will stick with
know.
Gil. Luis Gil.
Yeah, Gil works.
I saw his first career start in 2021 against the Orioles. 13-1 victory. I think he threw 6 shutout innings. And I was really excited for the kid. So I'm glad to see him back. Only 25 years old, had a great spring training. So excited for the opportunity to see what he can do.
Yeah, he was really looked at. Sorry, Dave, to cut you off, but he was really looked at as like the 4th or 5th option as the 5th starter. And he pitched so well in spring training that he worked his way into the conversation. Boone said he was one of the 3 guys they're considering, and then he, in his last outing, absolutely shoved, and they ended up giving it to him. So super happy for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no.
Well,
that'd be pretty cool. Dave, if you don't mind, only because I love to do this game with you guys. It's fun to see how much baseball knowledge we know. I'm going to jump real quick to an immaculate grid.
I was just about to say we should really do an immaculate grid. I was feeling it. I'm right there with you.
Dude, that's crazy. It's like great minds think alike. I know Jack was thinking it too. Dave, since you were thinking it off first, I'll let you start here.
All right, hold on. Let me gather. It looks like I'm gonna let you guys handle the pitch to minimum of 1 game over there, because I think you have some pretty obscure names. Okay. Geez, you're really gonna make me go first, huh? The viewers love this. The viewers are loving this. The stalling of time. You know what? A name we threw around a little bit. Thinking for the top left. How about Mr. Gio Urshela? I believe he came from the Blue Jays to the Yanks. Spent last year on the Angels.
Did he?
I thought he came from Minnesota.
I thought it was Cleveland.
Oh, wow. We all went 3 different teams.
He was traded to Minnesota.
From the
Yankees, yes.
Yeah, but I think the year before he was in the Yanks, he was in Toronto.
I thought it was Cleveland because I knew he was good friends with Lindor.
That is true.
I think Dave might be onto something.
We could throw him on the Twins Angels one.
Nope.
No.
I believe in Dave.
Yeah, I believe in myself sometimes too.
All right.
Now I'm super nervous.
Oh boy, Ken, 1%.
I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two.
Attaboy.
I'm gonna go the Twins minimum 1 game pitched. I'm gonna go Brusdar Gratterall, who a lot of people don't know was a member of the Minnesota Twins.
0.2%. Okay.
Jack, you're a weird guy.
Well, now I gotta think of something really obscure I was going for the Blue Jays one. That's great. Okay. How about for Blue Jays pitch minimum 1 game? Is Steven Matz gonna be a pretty low percentage there? He pitched for like 1 year there. And I think it was the COVID 2020 season. So I'm gonna run that.
Sure.
And I'll take the 0.03%. Let's go.
That's why I said you guys take that. I trust you. I don't want to even touch it.
All right. You know what doesn't work for Hall of Fame in the Reds? Pete Rose.
Yeah, thinking of a couple Reds. They had that lineup where they had like 3 Hall of Fame hitters, 1, 2, and 3.
Big Red Machine.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with my favorite Red Hall of Famer though. He might be pretty high. I'm gonna go Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench, 26%.
Okay.
6.
V, I'm gonna go Toronto and Cincinnati. Kevin Gausman.
Ooh, I had in my head there. Didn't Brandon Drury play for both of them as well?
Yep.
I had Brandon Drury in my head. That's where I was going next. So 5% for Gausman. It's good. That's good. How many Twins do I know? I don't know too many Twins. This will be fun. Twin and a whoa. Okay, yeah, this is fun. If anyone thinks of a twin before me, jump in because I don't know any twins.
I got a twin and an Angel, a former Met as well, and a former Milwaukee Brewer and Arizona Diamondback. V, I know you know who I'm talking about here. Friend of the show.
Eduardo Escobar.
Absolutely. Come on.
2%, Eduardo. Hey, listen, the guy liked my story.
That's awesome.
I will say,
Friend of the show.
Francisco Alvarez is the best friend of the show at the moment. He's reposted our stories.
Yeah.
Shout out, Francisco.
Shout out.
I'm trying to nail it.
We can go right. We can go smack in the middle with former Yankee, but also former Twin and former Red, Sonny Gray.
Stoney.
Sony.
45%.
Oh, so that was not good. Okay.
It's all right.
I felt confident that not many people knew that.
No, it's all good. I'm trying to think of an obscure name for a Hall of Fame and pitched one game. Like, Zach, is there any hitters that pitched for an inning?
Pujols?
He's not in Hall of Fame yet.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. Ichiro?
He's not in the Hall of Fame yet.
There definitely is.
There is someone, and that's probably what like the 0.02% would be. I just can't think of anybody on the top of my head. I'm trying to think of anybody who recently made it in. Like, did Chipper Jones ever pitch an inning? I'm trying to have like a memory on that.
Yeah, no, the only guys I really remember.
Oh, Babe Ruth? Or is that too obvious?
I think that's. I mean, there's so many. You can
Pitchers.
guess whoever.
I'm gonna go with the Babe. 11%. Wow. Thought it was gonna be lower than that.
Then we got Angels Hall of Fame.
So anyone who played on the Angels and is also in the Hall of Fame.
I feel like Angels don't really have that many guys like in this category.
You got, Nolan Ryan.
Nolan
Ryan.
Vlad.
Rod Carew.
Did he play for the Angels?
Thought so.
I think he did. I want to say he did.
I'll throw it. I have no idea.
Or Nolan Ryan works as well.
Just do Nolan.
Nah, let's risk it.
Risk it for the biscuit?
Yeah.
Who am I doing?
Rod Carew.
Oh, Rod. 13% for Roddy. All right.
Okay.
All right. Nolan Ryan was the most popular answer.
Babe, you got the most popular pitcher out of all the pitchers.
Go figure. Oh, shoot. All right. Roy Halladay. Edwin and
Sony's up there.
Vernon Wells.
Vernon Wells. What a name. Torrey Hunter.
He's a Yankee.
All right. Hey, boys, all I know is we don't miss. We get a perfect score every time. And we're back to the show. Thank you for watching that, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey Jack, a little piece of a nugget of information. You want to know something crazy that'll probably
Yeah,
make you feel old? You know, it's been a
sure.
decade since Derek Jeter retired.
Wow. That's funny. I actually, I went to a game his last season. It was, that was 2014.
I think
Jesus
it was
Christ.
2014. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 14. Me and my dad went. It was one of my birthday gifts, and he was having a catcher right in front of me. But he was like the celebrity of all celebrities at the game. Everyone just followed him around the field. Everyone was watching with their phones out, and I think there was still those, still get the flash cameras back then. Oh my god, that was really something special that season too, because Yankees were really, really bad, but he had a lot of cool moments. I do have to say.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna pose a question. If you're a historically great player, do you pull a Jeter like Mariano Rivera, get like the last send off Miguel Cabrera to like announce you're retiring at the end of the year and get kind of like praised throughout a whole year, or do you just at the end of the season just retire? Which one do you do? Like kind of just
Um,
don't let anyone know and you just kind of go out, or do you say like this is gonna be my last season, but then you're gonna get like so much attention the whole season, right?
Do the farewell tour. You think Jeter's ever cared about attention? I mean, how many times has he stepped up in big moments? I
No,
think
yeah,
it's good for the fans. It's good for baseball. I think that's
yeah.
the right way to do it to fans who aren't just for your team.
I think so
So
too. If you're Jeter, but I
yeah,
think if that Yankee team was any good, I don't think he would have done it that way. Because I think he would have thought it was a distraction from the team. But I mean, that Yankee team was just garbage. I don't know if you remember those. Those were rough times. Those were really rough times.
yeah.
How we lost in like 11, 12, 13, and then I mean, was it 13, 14, not making the playoffs, 15, rough years. I think 15 we lost to the Astros.
in the wild card
16,
game.
yeah, 16 we didn't make it. That was Brian McCann, Beltran. Oh my God, Lyle Overbay.
Oh
Those
God.
were scary times.
Lyle Overbay.
Yep.
Oh man, who was the big lefty? Travis Hafner was on the Yanks, right?
Hafner,
Oh
Billy
my
Butler
God.
was a Yankee.
Holy
Brendan
shit!
Ryan, Dustin Ackley. Oh, it was tough.
Yeah, that sounds tough. I'm not gonna lie.
But what would you pick, V?
That's a good question. Me personally, I would do the farewell tour.
You do
I
the
mean,
farewell
like,
tour?
I would have
yeah,
guessed that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
For UV, I would have guessed that.
I mean, listen. If I got like 3,000 career hits in the league, and like Dave said, I'm one of the best in the position, one of the best in the generation. Hell yeah, give me my farewell tour. Give me my presents on my way out. I gave everything to this game, and I want to do it. But I do also agree. It might dictate depending how good the team is. If my team is like in the hunt for a World Series, I don't know if I would want all that attention away from the team. If
Can
our
I
team is
ask?
struggling, oh yeah, go.
Well, I was just gonna say, and it's a fair question brought up by you, Jack. But like, honestly, how much of a distraction is it? You're talking about a guy who's been at the top of his position, top of the game for probably 15 plus seasons. If he's this well known enough to do a farewell tour, how much pressure is it? I mean, what do you get, a gift at the beginning of the game? You get honored, and then you play a multi-game series. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it'd be that much of a distraction
Yeah,
to the actual
probably
game
not.
and team itself.
Probably not. I guess it could just be a distraction if it's like it's really just the New York media probably just asking like guys questions like how do you feel about this? How do you feel? I guess it could just wear on guys. That's kind of where my mind went. But you did bring up a good point. Like how much is it really like distracting? But super
Yeah.
interesting because Kobe Bryant's last season, pretty sure he did a farewell tour as well, and that Laker team was kind of awfully similar to the Yankees. They were just god awful, and Kobe was just always hurt. Same with Jeter, his last couple of years, just always like banged up. it's kind of sad. He looked like a shell of himself. And then to have that performance in your last game at Yankee Stadium, Kobe's performance last game at Staples Center at the time, scoring whatever he had, like 60-something points. Pretty similar careers, to be honest, too. So, yeah. It's
You look at
interesting question, though.
it is interesting, but I don't know. Like you look at guys like Tom Brady who kind of didn't announce the retirement before, right? I don't think Brady did. You almost feel like,
Well, there was like 2 retirements. Like,
well, that's the thing. Can we just get it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna retire. Let's celebrate you for a year, witness greatness one more time, and put it to
Yeah.
bed. You know, I feel
I
like
guess
it's
that's a
a
good
little bit
point.
cleaner cut.
If you're that good and you put in like 20 years, I think I could get behind a farewell tour just because it's like, I deserve this after all this time. But I think there's also something cool about just getting that last press conference and just announcing your retirement with like your family. I think that's cool, kind of cool too. Like Teixeira did. I remember watching his press conference and it just being like super sad and he was crying and it was like super emotional and then he got like a nice send off. But yeah, I think it could go either way. I guess it depends on the context of the situation.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Listen, guys, I don't know about you. There's something I've really missed since last year.
What would that be? V?
And Dave, I think you should be the one who'd announce what we missed. We stopped doing it once the Mets and Yankees fell out of contention. We started early on. It was a lot of fun. Me and Jack had a bet that just really aged like sour milk. We didn't
really
agree
did.
on it this year because we think that's bad juju.
Yeah.
So Dave, why don't you tell us what we're about to do right now?
Well, since I know your heart, V, on a deep and intimate and passionate level, I know what you're missing and I know what you're feeling. Of course, you were talking about Big D's, Big Odds, back for the first time in 2024 as we kick off opening day. Yeah, you guys both bet something about the Mets and Yankees going to the playoffs, and like that didn't happen at all. So, of course, we will do our weekly kind of wager of wearing the hat of the other guy's team if you lose. Do you guys have any ideas? And this has not been discussed before the episode, but do you guys have any ideas of, as we track throughout the season, a season-long bet to make with each other?
Oh, wow. Jack, I don't know. You got something off the top of your head?
I
Almost
think
like
you
a
need to
fantasy
come up with
football
something.
sack of punishment.
Yeah, I think you need to come up with something. I came up with the whole Mets uniform for me, first playoff game, Yankee uniform for you. So maybe you sleep on it. That seemed like had bad juju with it. So you need to come up with a punishment,
I do.
and you're gonna have to report back to us next episode. For the winner loser, and that is if one of our teams. I mean, it has to be a punishment that is possible, even if our teams don't make the playoffs, because we didn't even have that as a thought last time. So
Okay.
let's make sure, just in case things go awry, that we can still do the punishment.
Well, we got to also make sure we don't stop in like July. Also,
well, we were just so depressed.
Well, we need the listeners to get involved too.
Yeah. We can't also be depressed if the Mets and Yankees both suck again. It's meant to make sense.
And then we got bigger problems than
we got much bigger problems.
Big odds.
Okay,
Yeah.
You're right, Jack. Let me sleep on it. I don't want to make any rash decisions right now. And I'll come up with something. I'll come up with something next episode.
Cool.
I think to add some further incentive and to add us keeping on track and to add some overall entertainment value to our lovely listeners, I think we might need to take it a step further with the weekly punishment. I think it's not just a matter of you guys wearing the other people's hat anymore. I think we also need to add a punishment, and maybe I will come up with that as we go along. To get you guys to embarrass yourselves a little bit in front of all 197 followers that we have, as we so kindly pointed out. But don't worry, I will not make you guys Huh?
We have 1,500 on Facebook, though.
Facebook loves us. All right. With that being said, no real punishment today. We will start simple, fellas. We will start with the fact that if you lose, you have to wear the other team's hat next episode. All right. So I have 7 lines for you. Special opening day treat. Usually I only do 5 because that's what my brain capacity can handle, but I will do 7 for you. Now I'm only going to highlight, I don't know the next time we're going to record, but I'm only going to highlight the opening day series, which will be the Yankees 4 games in Houston and the Mets 3 games with Milwaukee coming to the Queens. So I'm going to start off with a Yankees line, meaning V, you will answer first. Okay. So our very first Yankee line of the season is over under the Yankees wins during this upcoming season. I think they are probably not favorites to win a lot of games against the Astros. So I'm going to set the line at 1.5 games. So V, over under 1.5 games in their 4-game series against the Astros.
I'm gonna take the over. I think it's gonna be a split series, 2 wins, 2 losses. The Yankees avoid Verlander, Astros avoid Cole. We'll see. I think the Yankees can hit some of these guys in their rotation. I think it's gonna be a high-scoring series. Actually, it's kind of my prediction, and I see it going 2-2.
Yeah, I could definitely see that too, V. I was also banking on a split here, so I'm gonna have to take the over as well.
Right.
All right, then if you guys are smart, you can predict my next guess. Jack, I'm going to turn to you. The Mets, again, 3 games against Milwaukee. I'm going to set the same exact line, 1.5 for over under 1.5 wins for the Mets.
Well, the Mets historically start off really hot. It's almost like clockwork. The Mets will win, 13 of their first 15. They'll be in first place. All the Mets fans, LFGM, LFGM. They all come out of the woodworks. You see them all over. And then, obviously, the demise comes later on in the season. I think this is an easy over. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets sweep the Milwaukee Brewers, who are not even close to the same team as they were a year ago. And, yeah, I think this is an over for me.
Jack, hate to agree with you so much when we're pinned up against each other, but Jack, you nailed the head right on the nose. Or I don't know if that's how the saying goes, but
Definitely not.
No,
the
that's not
Mets,
even close.
Mets are going to win this series, and it's because they always get off to a hot start. So they're going to win.
Hit the nail on the head.
Oh, not the nose, the head.
You nailed
All
the
right.
head on the nose.
Technical difficulties, right, V?
I didn't have it during the Immaculate Grid, so it had to happen now.
Right. Okay, moving right along. V, coming back to you. It looks like for the Yankees, Nestor's getting the start on opening day, and Carlos Rodon's getting the start in game 2. I'm going to set an over-under line for combined innings pitch for Nestor Cortez and Carlos Rodon at 10.5.
Oof.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to set it at 11, so that way if they get 10 2/3, you got to,
Okay.
right?
Cortez Rodon at 11 innings pitched. I'm going to take the under here. It's the beginning of the season. They're not going to throw 100 pitches yet. And I predicted a high-scoring series, so that would mean Stars getting lit up a little bit. I'm going to take the under.
I hate to agree. I'm sorry, Dave, but I'm going to have to take the under here, too. I'm really thinking one of these guys just gets shelled. One of the two are going to allow like 7 runs in 2 1/3. It's going to get ugly for one of them. And honestly, it could be both of them. So I'm going to go with the under here.
All right. All right, moving along to the Mets. So coming to you, Jack. Looks like Quintana is going to get the start opening day. V will see him pitch live. So I'm going to set an over-under line on his strikeouts for the game at 5.5.
I'm going to go under here. Quintana, first time pitching in quite a while. V, I don't really know how well he did in spring training. To be honest, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Could you fill me in?
mixed results.
Okay.
He had a bad start, had a great couple starts, and then the last two starts weren't he was very iffy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under here. I'm thinking Quintana is not as dialed in as he will be towards the end of the year. And Brewers lineup is a little pesky, so I wouldn't be surprised if they fight the count, get him out of the game before he reaches that strikeout number that you put out.
Well, Dave, I like to have some fun. I don't give boring answers out here like Jack does. I ain't agreeing with him. Quintana's getting over 5.5 strikeouts live and in person. I will be posting a freaking TikTok when he does so and saying, "Suck it, Jack."
You're going to be the guy in the stands with the K's, right? Counting the K's?
I'll be in the front row in left field, so maybe I will.
It's a good spot for it. Very good. All right. Let's talk about some offense now. Us Yankee fans, of course, are excited to see Aaron Judge and Juan Soto in action together. So I'm going to set an over-under line on their home runs for this 4-game series combined at 2.5. V, you're up first.
I set a high-scoring game. This could easily be hit. 4-game series kind of scares me, but I'm going to take the under. I just think one each is more likely than...
All right, V, this is an easy over from me. Aaron Judge notoriously starts off hot in the beginning of the season. Juan Soto started off really cold at the start of last season, but he loves hitting in Houston. Just think about that 2019 World Series where, our friend Juan Soto just had an absolute series of a lifetime. He won't see his old friend Justin Verlander or Garrett Cole, who was on the Astros at the time. But something tells me Christian Javier, when he's on the mound, Juan Soto's going to go to town.
All right. Listen, I think one each for, one for Judge, one for Soto. So 2.
All right. We will see. And then V, talking about the Mets offense, well, I'm going to you first, Jack. I think I saw on average they scored about just under 4.5 runs per game last year. So I'm going to go total runs for the Mets in the series over under 11.5.
Wow, 11.5. I'm just going to go over. I think these Mets at the beginning of the year, they're going to do what they always do. They're just going to excite all the fans, get all the expectations high, and then crash and burn. And, June, July, August, like they always do. So that's my plan. That's my thought process. I wouldn't be surprised, Dave, they score 11 runs opening day. They just hit the number on the first game, just get it all over with, and I look like a genius. I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, Jack, I guess I'll have to look like a genius with you. I'm taking the over as well. The only game where I could see actually the Mets don't score a lot of runs is against Freddie Peralta on opening day. I don't know who else is starting for the Brewers the other games. I don't even know their names. Wade Miley's hurt. I think Colin Ray's hurt. I don't know who else they're starting. So, for those 2 games, on Saturday and Sunday, I see the Mets offense having a very high-scoring game.
Very good. And yeah, okay, good. Just in case you guys agreed with each other too much, I had to throw this one in there. Hopefully, you guys just do the right thing, stay loyal to your teams. I don't have to tell you what to do. But I'm going to rule out game 4 for the Yankees. So we're going to do the first 3 games. So we're going to go 3-3. Which team will have more stolen bases, the Mets or the Yankees? Or you can throw in a lame answer and say they will tie.
Who goes first?
You do, since you spoke.
I do. Now, I'm going to go for the Mets. My win night.
Do the right thing, Jack.
You know what? It really pains me to go against the team that is the hottest team to start every single year, but I'll just roll with the Yanks. Hopefully Volpe can get on base, steal some bases. This is going against my brain. I'm picking here with my heart. You know the Mets are going to look like a World Series contender in the series against the Brewers. You already know.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, because I know your heart on a deep, intimate, and passionate level, I knew you could not choose the Yankees. All right, so we have some disagreement. We have 7 lines here. You guys disagreed on that one. Quintana's K's. Oh, no. Yeah, Quintana's K's and Judge and Soto combined home runs. So we'll see how this all pans out, and we will see who will be wearing the other team's hat after the conclusion of the opening day series.
I think I threw out my Yankees hat. I gotta buy another one.
You threw it out?
I don't know where it is.
Wow. It's rough.
Yeah.
You better hope you win. Buy yourself more time. All right. I quickly want to ask you, because we got to wrap up this episode, I'm going to give you guys each one thing to name that you are excited about, specifically on opening day. What is the number one thing you're excited about? Jack, you're up first.
The number one thing I'm excited about is Juan Soto wearing a Yankees jersey. I can't put it into words how excited I am to watch this man. It's going to be great. Finally, the Yankees lineup has some lefty power hitters, and it's going to feel surreal. It felt surreal in spring training, but it's going to feel even more surreal during the regular season against our bitter rivals, the Astros. I just can't wait for that.
Dave, I'm going to give you a very generic answer. I'm just excited to watch baseball that matters. I'm excited to every night get to tune in to watch the Mets, tune in. I can watch all games. You guys know me. I watch baseball. It doesn't matter if it's the Mets game. I watch all baseball games. I'm excited to just be able to follow the sport 24/7. I'm excited for spring weather. I'm excited for everything that baseball in April brings a better feel to my soul. I feel happier during baseball season. I know you guys do too. Whether the Mets suck this year or are good, I've experienced more heartache than heart happiness in my life with the Mets. So, however it happens, it happens. I'm excited for baseball to get started.
Jack,
Heart happiness.
Right.
That's a new one. That is a new one.
Mets fans do love the month of April. That is what I am gathering.
It's really we should we should when you're editing this, you should add that. Is it Family Guy, that clip of it's the first pitch of the season and the season's over. Is that Family Guy?
That is Family Guy. It's Stewie in the stands.
Yeah, Stewie's in the stands.
Yeah, I love Stewie. Good guy.
All right. Listen, the quicker we wrap up this episode, the quicker we are to opening day. Any final remarks, comments, concerns, questions?
No. Happy Easter, those who celebrate. Easter Sunday coming up.
Yeah, happy Ramadan to anyone who's
Happy Ramadan as well.
Fasting. Happy Easter. And happy opening day, because when you guys see this episode, sure, it's going to be opening day. And that's going to be freaking awesome. And tune into our socials, Dave. Dave, tell them.
Well, I'm doing the telling part of this episode. Okay, well, you can follow us on all the socials. We make it nice and easy for you. One tag. You don't have to remember much. It is just at BQB Podcast. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Facebook loves us. But please, you can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google, Amazon, and a couple different others sprinkled in there. If you like us, go to Mets opening day, find Big V front row left field, and tell him how much you love us. He is going to be signing autographs, and we got to get V to be a big deal, so that way he can do a farewell tour when he's done with this whole podcasting thing.
That's right. Autographs are free, by the way, guys.
Really? Usually you charge for your services.
Opening day discount. Free.
Oh, okay. All right, we will catch you guys next episode. Thanks for listening.